Welcome to Wealth Matters Podcast. How are you, Minesh, today?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Alpesh.
Absolutely, Minesh. So, Minesh, I saw some of your YouTube videos, and the reason I reached out because you had some interesting strategies about precious metals. So, can you tell my listeners what do you do?
Yeah, so I own a company called Perfect Portfolio, and we help people invest. In essence, what I like to call their entire portfolio to give them an idea of how to create the perfect portfolio. Part of that is a strategy called gold and silver for life. And that system is really about how to use gold and silver and invest with gold and silver like a hedge fund would, without sort of falling into the traps of a retail investor, which is what comes with buying bricks, bars, and coins and storing
Right.
them. You know.
That's exactly what most of us do.
Yes, exactly.
So, when did you start investing personally?
Well, I my journey started when I was about 15 and a half years old. My dad was negotiating a real estate deal, and I was standing by the doorway. And as he finished negotiating that deal, I had an arrogant smirk on my face, and he said, what are you smiling at?" And I said, "I don't know why you think this is so complicated. It sounds easy to me." Obviously not knowing anything about what he was doing or what he was saying or what a mortgage broker was, what a lawyer was, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and and then he basically, instead of telling me to screw off, which would have been perfect for him to do, he said, "Show me." And so very quickly, I had to learn, how to talk to property managers, how to talk to lawyers, what a mortgage was, how to structure a mortgage, how to structure a deal, how to make a deal look good on a spreadsheet, how to sell a deal to
Oh, okay.
investors. Even how to sell, a property building manager on giving me 18 out of 36 units on an exclusive basis for a month, things like that. So I was doing that from 16 years old till about 19ish.
That's awesome. So, how did you get into gold or silver as investment then? Because I like real estate. That's what I do. But you pivoted into
Yeah.
gold,
So
silver, etc.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So gold and silver was after the 2008 market crash. Um, and there's several things happened in business and investing. And I took a hiatus from about 2008 to mid 2010, or end of 2008 to mid 2010. And during that period, I was just doing a lot of research and understanding about what was going on in the world and the history of the financial system, and
Hmm.
got involved with gold and silver myself.
Oh, okay.
And then coming back onto the education scene, I had to really evaluate what I wanted to do with my life. And a lot of my life up to that point was teaching people trading strategies, utilizing leverage, utilizing margin, that even though legally I was covered, morally it didn't sit with me right anymore. So I wanted to make safe investing exciting. And I thought, if I can make gold and silver exciting, then everything else is a piece of cake. And so I
Right.
picked the hardest one to start with. We took gold and silver for life. Started off as gold for life, then we changed it to gold and silver for life. We took it to clients in 46 countries. We launched, and with the premise of, basically every $50,000 I put into gold and silver gives me a $6,000 to $13,000 a year cash flow, and most normal people don't know how to do that. And so we took it to clients in 46 different countries, proved the concept, and then launched Property Profits for Life and Stock Profits for Life. And then in March of 2019, merged all of that into Perfect Portfolio. But Gold and Silver for Life started in 2010.
That's awesome. So, can you talk about why precious metals are needed in everyone's investment portfolio?
Yeah, precious metals, gold has a 92% correlation to the amount of money being printed. So the only question that anyone needs to ask themselves to decide whether they want to or need precious metals in their portfolio is this: is more money going to be printed? And if the answer to
Yes.
that question, if the answer to that question is yes, then you need precious metals in your portfolio. It's
Right.
very simple. There's nothing more
Eh,
complicated. I'm not a fear monger. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to tell you the world is going to collapse. That's why you need it. It's very simple. There is money being printed, therefore you need gold and silver.
So can you explain why? Of course, everyone knows that money will, be printed all the time, right? And especially in last 5, 10 years, it's been crazy, right? But can you correlate why someone would need to have gold and silver if money is being printed?
Yeah, so money isn't gold and silver is in essence a hedge asset to inflation. So
Right,
as more money is printed, there is more inflation, and the value through inflation, in essence, the value of every dollar goes down. As there is more of something, the value of each individual
right,
something goes
right.
down, and so that's really the essence of it. And gold and silver provide a hedge against a lot of money being printed, which we don't have a say on. It's about seven guys that get together and say, "Hey, let's print another $200 billion and dump it into the market and see
Exactly.
what happens."
Yeah, and that's how
So
I
it's a
look at gold and silver as well. It's a good hedge against inflation. So,
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I was just gonna say, you know, that's how most people look at gold and silver. What the part that I didn't get about gold and silver when I came into the industry and started looking at, Mike Maloney's amazing education, David
Yeah,
Morgan's amazing education, was that was that I, you know, I came from a real estate background. I came from understanding that cash flow is very, very important.
yeah,
I came from observing people who had a very, very simple formula to grow their wealth. And that is number one, they want to buy an asset that's going to go up. They want to buy it at the best price possible. And then number two, they need to cash flow that asset. And number three, they take the cash flow and compound it and buy more of that asset that's going up.
right.
That's
Yeah,
in essence what I like to call my wealth triangle principle. So, you know, and that's nothing new. It's creating wealth is a very, very simple formula. Um, and what I realized was that gold and silver, you know, if you were lucky, you managed to do the first step right. But most people are paying 20% premium to buy the gold and silver.
right.
They're holding on to it for 20 years, not doing anything. And then when it comes to selling it, they're getting hit by 20% again because,
Again. Yeah.
the dealers are not going to give them true market value. So it just showed that there was potentially a good opportunity in the gold and silver space to actually change that.
And that's called buy and sell spread, right? That's the spread which you'll always have to pay when you buy or and you sell, right?
Yes, that's right. So there's always a spread, and there's always someone making money. The difference was that in the last 30 years, there's been innovations in the financial world that are making everything easier. With real estate, you can buy REITs.
Yep.
With the stock market, you can use an index fund.
Index fund.
So right. So why can't you do that with gold and silver, right? And the truth is, you can. You can buy gold and silver ETFs,
Yeah.
and you can have a direct benefit on the true market value of gold and silver, managed by the best professionals in the world. And as long as you are not investing in gold and silver thinking there's going to be a zombie apocalypse, you're fine.
I see. So, can you tell my listeners which are different ways one can acquire gold and silver?
Yeah, so you can buy physical, you can buy bricks, you can buy coins, you can buy numismatic coins, you can get involved with the biggest scam in the gold and silver industry, which is a multi-level marketing and a network marketing scam, where they're charging 70% premium on the actual price of gold.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
those are typically the retail ways of getting involved in gold and silver. Some of these MLM companies will say, "Hey, it's a gold and silver savings plan. You give us $100," but the truth is they're giving you $50 of gold back. So
Oh,
it's
that's
really,
interesting. I haven't heard
yeah,
of that, but maybe it's gaining momentum.
yeah. I mean, it's been around. Definitely Google that. It's one of the biggest scams
Oh,
to be
okay.
aware of. You
Wow.
might as well take $100, chop it in half. It's
Wow.
what most people don't realize that what most people really do not realize, is that if you did that, and you're for example, today the gold price would have to go from 1550 to $2,325 an ounce before you started making a penny. If you did
Right.
that, if you paid a
Right.
50% premium, right, you would have to have gold, the true price of gold, go up 2,000 to $2,325 an ounce before
Right.
you made a penny. It's just not the right way of doing it. So those are the retail ways of doing it. Then there's the institutional ways of doing it, which is, number one, they use if they want physical ownership, then they'll use a bullion storage company like
Right.
Gold Money.
Yeah.
And the most important way is by using an ETF like GLD or
Or
SLV,
SLV.
they can balance their liquidity and manage their portfolio.
I
Yeah,
see.
exactly. So they can manage their portfolio by instantly selling in and out of their positions.
And you did touch upon like bullions for storage in Singapore, Australia, whatnot. And I saw that some of those bullion companies are also giving peer-to-peer loans. How good is that, or how does that work?
Yeah, it
Is it
depends. I
worth?
mean, it's obviously securitized against your physical gold and silver that you own in their storage facility. So it makes sense from that perspective. However, why would you want to do that when you can use a strategy like what we use and what hedge funds use, and you're making, you're owning your gold and silver, you're making 12 to 26% a year on it. Why would you want to use a service like that, unless you had physical gold and silver that you want to put into there for them
I
to
see.
store it and then borrow against it?
I see. Okay, no, that's awesome. So let's take a quick break, and after the break, we can discuss about the strategies you use to use gold to generate income. So welcome back to Wealth Matters podcast. I'm chatting with Minesh Bindi, who is based out of UK and operates in more than or close to 50 countries with his business Perfect Portfolio. And I'm talking to him about how one can use gold and silver to generate income. Because so far, as an investor, being a real estate and stock investor, I have always learned that gold and silver are a good hedge against inflation. So, Minesh, how can someone use gold to generate income?
So you have to be open-minded. If you come from a background of only investing in physical because you think the world is going to collapse, unfortunately,
Right.
I cannot help someone out of that mindset. What I can try and educate that person to believe is that there are hedge funds out there, there are family offices out there that manage billions and trillions of dollars that are using the strategies that I teach. And that's very simple. We use ETFs, exchange traded funds, to profit from the price of gold and silver. Our goal is not to own the underlying physical asset of gold and silver, but it's to speculate on the price of gold and silver. However, you can do that with CFDs. You can do that with futures contracts. What we like to do it with is an ETF. And the reason for that is that the ETF is actually backed by gold and silver. It's actually physically backed by gold and silver, and the price is guaranteed. So you are, in essence, buying a share in a company whose only asset is gold and silver. And that's how it works. So we use ETFs to do that. And then we'll utilize option strategies to allow us to collect premium on anyone wanting to bet on the price of gold and silver.
Interesting. So pretty much you are using stock option strategy I mean, call and put options
Yes,
against GLD and SLV, basically.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. One of the things I want to highlight, um, what we do and what we specialize in, what we've been doing since 2010, what I wanted to do since my last time of being in the education space with real estate and trading before the 2008 market crash. What we do is not it's nothing magical. The magic is not in the strategy. See, in my experience, there's not too many strategies that allow you to make money. There is a very finite number of those strategies. What's important is consistency and mindset in actually making you actually do those. So that's why when somebody becomes a client of ours, they get a free coaching call every single week for life. They never pay again, ever. We've got clients since 2010 that are still attending coaching calls today for free, even though the price of the program has gone up by more than 10 times. So that's what we believe in. We believe in making a community and consistency and helping you every single step of the way.
I understand. So how does it work if someone becomes your client? Do you take like, do you act as a hedge fund or something, and you build their portfolio? Or now you're mentioning about coaching calls, so are you coaching them on how to invest in GLD
Yeah.
and SLV options?
Yes,
Okay.
we're not a fund manager. We are not a fiduciary. We are not in the position to manage anyone's funds, nor do we really want to be, because for most people who have less than $5 million to invest, it's probably better for you to do it yourself. It's probably
Right.
better for you, because my fees are going to kill the amount of wealth that you can actually acquire, especially when the strategy is so simple. So we have a part of our business that we do fund management for very, very, very high net worth individuals. And I'm talking $5 million minimum investments. But again, for those people, the fees make sense. But for someone who's investing $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, my fees are not going to make sense for you at this point. So, and what's more important is I'm teaching the strategy that I'm using when I manage money. It is nothing different to what we actually do. So, you get to utilize everything, you get to learn everything, and you get to become independent and do it yourself with our support too. And, one of the best things about what we do is that, the average price of our program is $12,500. But when somebody joins, they're only ever going to pay $4,997 US, and the rest, $7,503, they will only pay when I help them make $50,000 in profit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, that's what we like to call our results first plan. I think there's too many people in the investment education space that are sort of asking too much from the client up front. So what I wanted to do was make a commitment with the client. And the other thing is that I only work with 155 people a year.
Oh,
So
okay.
it doesn't, my main source of wealth comes from my own investing. So we hand select. I look at every single application of who we want to work with. And at the end of the day, it's about helping a person actually get the result. I'm not interested in people that just want to attend seminar after seminar after seminar. We've been doing this now since 2010. Like I said, we've got clients in 46 different countries. We've got people that, are single moms in Indonesia, or ex-Wall Street traders, or farmers, or butchers. We've got, or educators. We've got everything, and every single person we've managed to teach how the strategy works.
Interesting. So, is there a minimum investment they got to make once they, purchase your training course?
Yeah, so you can start testing the strategy from, right now just under $2,000. But I would recommend that the strategy is right for someone who wants to invest about $25,000 as a minimum.
I see. Okay. I understood. And it could work from anywhere in the world, as you said. So they have to, of course, have a stock trading account, etc. Right?
That's one of the things. You just landed on something that fascinates me. So I don't know what your experience is on this, but one of the fascinating things that I find is there are so many people going around consuming so much information on investments and how to do different investment strategies and this, that. And there are people that do not have a broker account. It is the most scary, excuse my language, but it is the most scariest fucking thing I've ever seen in investing. Considering everyone is a fan of posting memes of Forbes, the richest people, and all this other shit on social media, the fact that they know that all of these people that they admire have a broker account, have a portfolio, and they do not even do the basic, simple step of getting a broker account is shocking to me.
Yeah. You got to have a brokerage account. You got to have approval to be able to trade options, etc.
That's right. And the great thing about it now is you could get a broker account. You don't even have to get off your ass. Before when I started investing, you had to actually get off your ass, scan pieces of paper.
Oh no, everything's online.
Post. You can download Robinhood on your iPhone.
Yeah, everything's online. Yeah, you got to even E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, everything's online. Yeah.
Exactly. You can sit on your comfortable ass
Yeah.
and get a broker account, but people will not do it. But they want more and more strategies of investing. It is fascinating to me.
No, I totally agree. So, are there any advice or ideas you have for someone who wants to uh, invest in gold and silver, right? Other than buying bullions, and if they want
Yes.
to do their on their own.
Yes. Number one is get a broker account. I'm assuming everything I'm going to say is assuming that you already have a broker account. Number
Yes.
two, what I would do is I would go to your broker account. And this is the other shocking thing that I get, right? People talk about investing in the markets and they will not buy one share of something, right? The tip that I would write before you even get in touch with me, before you even get in touch with anybody else, get a broker account and buy one share of GLD, right? It's going to cost you right now $147.98. And
Right.
buy one share of SLV, it's going to cost you
It's like okay.
$16.91, right?
Right.
$16. You can
Yeah.
get to this
Nothing.
for less than $20, right?
Yeah.
And that will show you how this begins to work, right? You can do it right now. And so that's what I would recommend. I would recommend at least go and do it. It's going to cost you less than $20 just to see how this works, and then you can get a feel for what we do. Now, once you're ready to the next level, then obviously, come and attend our trainings and see if we're a fit for your goals, and see if, like I do, if every 50,000 you invest in precious metals, you want to get a cash flow of 6 to 13,000 a year on.
And other question I have is that, do you send out the trade alerts or recommendations, or once that person is trained, they are able to take care of it on themselves, right? They are able to figure out how the uh, ETF is trending, if they got to buy calls or buy puts, etc.
Yeah, so we we started in 2010, and we didn't have any trade alerts. And then last year, third quarter of last year, we announced that for 3 months after somebody becomes a client, we're going to send them our trades. So they get that for free as well.
I see. And they are able to pretty much then copy the trades if they don't
Yes.
want to do anything else.
Yeah, but that's obviously for 3 months, and the reason for that is very simple. I do not want you to be reliant on me.
I see. Okay.
My goal with this investment strategy is to allow you the ability to become independent. And so my trades are designed to give you a leg up. It's not designed to give you a crutch. And so we're going to do that for 3 months. You'll get it for 3 months, and then you'll be pretty proficient in doing it yourself.
And how much time one would end up spending researching and analyzing or running charts and whatnot every day to generate this kind of income?
Well, let me ask you a question. If I told you that for every $50,000 that you put into precious metals, regardless of whether those precious metals go up, you're going to make $6,000 to $13,000 a year on every 50,000 you put in. How much time are you willing to spend on that?
That's a good question.
Right? I bet you it's more than an hour a week.
Right. Oh yes.
Right?
Yes.
But that's what our strategy takes. That's what our strategy takes. It's going to take you 6 hours to go through the training, and it's going to take you about an hour a week, including the coaching call on a weekly basis.
Oh, that's awesome. That's usually nothing. Because some of this stock picking and all, and I was learning, and this is about 6-7 years ago when I was spending time. Like this takes more than a day for me to learn and figure out. And then, of course, I need to keep watching the market, right? Because if you are doing day trading, swing trading, you're always on your toes trying to time the market, right?
Exactly. That's why I don't like, me personally, I'm not a good trader. I just know that that's not my preferred way of doing things. I like investing for the long term. I like generating cash flow. I like buying more of the asset. I like to be involved with the asset on a long-term basis.
I agree. That's me as well. And most of my investments are real estate, of course, but I like to explore other strategies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything else you would like to share or we haven't discussed?
No, really. I think we've covered it pretty well. Like I said, for most people, before you look at my strategy, before you look at anything that Alpesh does, before you look at anything anyone else in this damn market does, get a broker account and buy a stock. That's
Yeah.
it. Just one share. I don't want you to put $1,000 in. I don't want you to put $500 in. I want you to buy one share. That's it. $16.91. You can get involved in SLV right now and understand how this works. That's going to be more education than you'll get with spending hours listening to a podcast. The only time podcasts and the great things that the educators in this world will start benefiting you is once you take that first step.
Oh yeah.
Until then, we're all just entertainment for
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. If you don't pull the trigger, it's all, waste of time. You got to take
Exactly.
action.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. How can my listeners reach out to you, Minesh?
Unfortunately, I'm not on social media, so nobody can reach out to me on that. But you can go to perfectportfolio.com, or in fact, I'm sure you'll have the links to my trainings in the show notes. So that would probably be the easiest way for them to find me.
Perfect. I will attach that to the show notes. Thank you so much, Minesh. I had fun chatting with you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.